Hey everyone, it's Christina again from Christina Lisa Photography. I'm glad I'm back. I feel like I left you guys hanging. We've had blizzards and snowstorms and ice storms and everyone's been sick back and forth. So sometimes it's hard to get stuff done. I think many of you can probably relate. But I wanted to talk about the Style Stock frame tutorial that we're going to be doing today. Last time I did my favorite type of insert. I think it's the quickest and I think it looks really good. Because you can sort of clip off right where the frame ends and sort of put your photo behind that. But the one I'm going to show you today is really good when you have a frame that's a little bit off center so that you can't just lay your photo directly on top of it. You need to tilt it a little bit and sort of, depending on the perspective, you may need to make a corner bigger or smaller on one side versus the other. So I think that'll be really helpful to know, and we'll apply some of the same effects that we did last time. And real quick, I want to talk about my earrings today because I think people are going to ask. They are from a little Etsy shop called Pearls and Prim, and they're quickly becoming one of my new favorites. They're faux druzy. I don't know if you can see these very well because my lighting's not that great, but these are pink. I got a blue pair too, a set of two, and they've got little flecks of different colors in them. I just think they're really fun. So I think people who are watching this are probably going to ask, but they have a really cute shop with lots of earrings like this. You should definitely check them out. And anyway, here we go. I'm going to put this in screen capture mode, and we'll start working in Photoshop. All right, hold on. Okay, so here we are again in Photoshop, and last time we did this picture here on the right using my favorite method, as I've said, but this method I'll show you today is pretty useful. You'll see why in a minute. I'm going to show you how to go from the empty frame to inserting the photo and applying all the effects to get a very similar result to what we did last time. So I'm going to block that for now, and I'm going to show you how I went from this empty frame to having that photo inserted into it. So I have a picture open that I'm going to use. I did Control A, Control C, and just Control V to paste it back in here into Photoshop. Preserve color appearance, I always just click OK for that. And I'll do my Command T to transform it, and do not forget to do this little aspect ratio lock so that when you are changing the set or resizing your photo, you don't distort it either by making it really long, really short. But anyway, what we'll do, we'll try and get, actually, let me zoom in a tiny bit. So we can get closer to that frame, because we want to get as close as we can to the corners in here. And I think you'll start to see that with the picture being straight, the frame has a tiny bit of a tilt to it. You can see over here that you're seeing some of the gray behind the frame. Over here it's not matching up on this corner, but it does match this corner. So that's why this method is sort of helpful to me in a lot of situations. So let's see. We'll just try and get as close as we can. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit. I'm staying in transform, but I'm going to skew it. So what that allows me to do is take these corners, or wherever there's a little square really, and make slight adjustments to the photo. So it's not really changing the photo in any way. Photoshop is really great about preserving and knowing what the photo should look like when you're doing things like this. So let's see there. Oh, I'm going to move this corner a teeny tiny bit if I can. Sometimes it is, it does restrict you from what you can do. Probably, I imagine it knows if a photo is going to look distorted or not, or your image is going to look distorted or not. And I'm thinking that is now lining up pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I've got the corners lined up where I want them on the insides of the frame there. So what we're going to do now, just right click, do a blending option, and I can apply the same shadows that I did to the last photo. So it actually has them all saved for me because we were working on it before, and I saved the effects. So there are the two inner shadows. Again, this shadow here is going to be a little more harsh because the light is coming from the left, and I do still want to apply a small shadow on the right, but it's a lot less of a sharp angle, and I have it going out fewer pixels than I did the first one. And then the last thing we want to do is apply the gradient as well. And I am applying the same gradient I did on the last photo. Okay, and there we go. There are effects. On this photo, I think the gradient actually, maybe because of the clouds, is maybe looking a little too strong. So I'm going to bring down the opacity even more to, let's try maybe 3%. I think that looks a little bit better. It gives it a realistic look without being too obvious. But there you have it. You have a second way to insert your photos into a frame, and this is really useful when your frame is not lined up perfectly. And I do see a lot of mock-ups where the frames will definitely have a tilt to them, or they are maybe shot at more of an angle than being straight on. So those can be trickier to get your photo into, but I think this method will be pretty helpful. So again, here we go. We've got, let's turn all the effects off. So empty frame, frame with your picture behind it, and then a few effects to make it look a little more realistic. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it's helpful. All right, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.